Hey guys, Buddy and Ryan here. Thanks for joining us for another Legion recap. This time we're doing episode 6. Be sure to subscribe, guys, because we're going to be covering Legion all season long, which I know is only 2 more episodes, but we're going to be doing post-season breakdowns, just slow-mo of Lenny dancing.
Yeah, we're going to watch the entire season again and again and again. That's how much we love it.
I love it.
And also, the Shadow King has been confirmed thanks to shitty internet video.
Cue that shitty internet video!
Have I seen you before?
Next time on Legion.
I've been watching this David person and his monster. You know what it is? Or should I say who?
Amal Farouk, the Shadow King. We have to rescue him.
Farouk has locked him away in a tiny corner of his mind. He'll be gone entirely soon. And then the Shadow King will become David.
Legion.
So yeah, buddy, we now know the Shadow King has been behind all of this. Lenny, Benny, King, whoever it is the Shadow King. And it's been tormenting David for his entire life.
His whole life.
Yes.
I got you when I was a baby. So he says, he leans up to him, whispers real close. I mean, I know that he's a figment of David's imagination or something existing in the astral plane, but do you think his breath stinks?
Oh yeah, definitely. Look how big he is. And yeah.
So it wasn't even confirmed in episode 6. It was actually confirmed all the way confirmed in a East Coast
alternate promo for episode 7.
We did a little bit of digging though, that everybody else on the internet has done, but we did it, ourselves. Amal Farouk, which is confirmed in that, you hear his name. He battled with Professor X in Uncanny X-Men number 117. He's a fat guy. Amal Farouk is a chubby white man. He's not wearing that suit, but he
that suit's all tattered up anyways. I mean, yeah. And he showed up numerous times back, I believe it was the Muir Island saga, back when he possessed Legion and pretty much tried to kill all the X-Men. So if you really want to dive into like the backstory behind this horrible, horrible villain,
we got it in the description.
Check it out. You're going to want to read that. What about that dance?
And I'm feeling good.
Yeah, Dr. Busker. Holy moly. She can dance. She can do psychiatry. But she's doing it through all of David's memories. All of his memories that he's like lost control in and stuff, which are like where?
Yeah, like his bedroom where he tried to commit suicide, right? In his ex-girlfriend's kitchen. And then also in the room at Summerland where he had his whole body scan.
The EKG
and
machine
he freaked
thing.
out and he got claustrophobic and then saw monsters and stuff, so. Yeah.
And some monsters or whatever,
No big deal.
So, yeah, that's pretty crazy. And I love that they keep touching back to those moments, in those touch points in David's life. Like there's, everybody has those like keystone memories. One interesting memory that I was gonna bring up later, but why not bring it up now? There's a memory in Ptolemy's little sequence that is a reference to Twin Peaks. The floor, he describes the chevron pattern.
Yeah.
The floor in his mother's house is the same floor pattern from the dream sequence in Twin Peaks, which I found pretty cool. I'm sure that's like a little director thing. Nothing in the show.
I think
on
Noah
accident.
Hawley has said that his influences, obviously David Lynch was one of the big influences for the show. Little Wes Anderson as well, Pink Floyd, but yeah, it was a good little Easter egg to find those type of things. And
There was a Pink Floyd reference in this as well, in addition to the song about the. It's from Money, the pie line from that. That's a lyric from that song.
Stop. No pie for you.
So that Ptonomy memory sequence kind of made me realize something, that time in this show doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
It doesn't matter at all. So the reason why it doesn't matter, it might either be one, all of this is made up and none of it's really happening. Like all of it's in David's head, and time is so screwed up that because he doesn't remember what's going on. But Ptonomy, he's in a 60s era kitchen. His mother's dressed in 60s era. The comic strip in the newspaper that he's reading is 60s era. Silly Putty, 60s era. Not that we don't have it now, but it was huge in the 60s. Everything's 60s. And then he goes, my mom's listening to 99 Red Lift Balloons, which came out in 1984. What? What are you doing? What are we doing?
Time travel. Craziness. No, I think intentionally it's supposed to be like no era, because you're supposed to just be into this world, this surreal experience. David's going through such an unnatural existence, all these different personalities in his mind. So I think that's part of, pulling the viewer into that as well.
Right.
And they're doing a really damn good job about it.
I just don't want to mess things up, Now that I have balance.
So all the discussion about time brings us to costuming again. I know I covered a lot of this last week. I missed something from episode 2, actually. Episode 2 has a shirt with a circle with a piece missing out of it because he's not quite getting something. Maybe. That's my estimation. So we have the piece missing out of the shirt, episode 2, episode 3, tornado, episode 4, the arrow's facing off of his shoulder, and episode 5, the Shadow King is him, so the arrow is aimed at his face. But Ryan figured out something else, or... Well, why don't you tell me?
By the way, my mind was blown when you told me about this, guys. Big ups to Buddy for finding all these little small details in the shirts.
I watch a lot of this show.
He rewatches it a lot too, yeah. But yeah, shout out to the rack.com. Read an interview with the costume designer, Carol Case, and she was saying down to the colors of their jumpsuits would determine kind of what their mental state is. So Sid had the white stripes on her jumpsuits. She's like the least crazy. Then you have David with the yellow lines on his jumpsuit. He's like kind of there. Actually, he should be like full all the way there, but and then Lenny in the earlier episodes, she had, if you remember, she had the red stripes, and she's just kind of batshit crazy all the way off the rails. So small little details that we noticed: costuming, lighting from last week that Buddy talked about. Major ramifications in how you interpret like what's going on in the show.
Oh no! Come on, he's up, brother. He's in the yellow. Don't hurt the guy. Come on, man.
So the coolest costume in the entire show so far?
Oliver.
Yep. Oliver. The diving
Easily.
bell. Yeah,
Not even close.
Easy. Except for maybe the tree guy, the guy that's just in the tree the whole time. What
Random
the is that, dude?
I mean, that seems like a cool safe spot, right?
Yeah, maybe. What is he? Do you guys know what he is? Let us know in the comments.
Please tell us in the comments. We have no clue who this guy is.
Oh my God, I know what he is.
What?
He's a wallflower. Yes. Back to Oliver. Seth in the YouTube comments from the episode 5 recap that we did. Here's the theory. Oliver encountered the Shadow King in the real world. He has encased himself in the astral plane because he's trying to escape the Shadow King. He keeps showing up in this diving bell because the atmosphere that he's developed in that ice cube in his reality is actually linked to a hose through that diving bell. If he goes out of his safe zone, the parasite that is the Shadow King will get him. He knows who Amal Farouk is. Carrie knows who Amal Farouk is, apparently, if you pay attention to the other promo. I think that everybody's super quiet, not because he couldn't make noise in that diving bell. He's probably making a ton of noise, but it's actually a different planar of existence. Like the stuff that's in the diving bell is a completely different realm of existence, so you can't transfer sound or something. Or maybe he's scared of the Shadow King hearing him because they're actually technically inside of a Shadow King controlled area. It's a little out there, but I think
love
it's
this
true.
theory. Props to Seth for coming up with this one. I love the idea that Oliver has kind of faced off or seen the Shadow King years before, and probably partially the reason why he's stuck there and he can't get back home to his wife. And now it's going to be awesome looking ahead how they're going to save everyone else.
Right.
So
right. There has been one issue brought up with that theory, and that's David's 30 years old.
And he says, I've been with you since birth.
Yeah.
And we find out that Oliver has only been in a coma for 21 years. Years are scrambled. Those are minor details.
Yeah,
I mean,
we talked about time a little while ago. It doesn't really matter.
Time is irrelevant. Plus, couldn't the Shadow King make people forget years? Maybe forget it. Remember, we know that he's made David forget memories or horrific memories. So, I mean, who's to say that the Shadow King doesn't control you forgetting how long you've been somewhere?
He makes you forget. Clever.
What are you...
You have an unquiet mind, and so you war with yourself.
That's a super dope theory. We'll see, if it's true or not.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a couple more episodes. They might not tell us, but let us know in the comments if you guys have any additional theories, and we'll definitely respond. I noticed a bunch of cool references to previous episodes in this that you guys probably all saw, but memories were replaced. So the scene with Patanomy in the place of Lenny from episode 1.
Yeah, and Klonopinol. Or hold the phone, yogurt.
Yeah, Klonopinol or hold the phone, yogurt, and Klonopin.
Also, Sid coming into David's room, as opposed to in this episode, David came into Sid's room. Neither of them had feet for some reason when they came into the room.
Yeah,
I'm not
that
really
first
sure
shot
why.
down below, and then they appear after they get up to the bed.
So there's a big theory about Sid not really existing because you don't see her feet in this one shot, but I've looked for a long time, and I can't find additional references to why Sid wouldn't exist. There is the scene from the pool in episode 1 or 2 where he's reaching for Sid, and the scene changes back to the mental hospital for a split second that other people are like, see, all this is bullshit. I'm not really sure, but if you guys have confirmed evidence, let us know, please, because I've really looked, but if you've looked harder than me, prove it, punk.
And other details that we noticed, the bugs all over the pie.
Yeah.
We saw that earlier with the beetles all over the strawberries. A very romantic night with strawberries, and then a bunch of bugs all over them. So,
The devil with the yellow eyes hates berries, apparently.
Yeah. I mean,
you bring berries anywhere into my mind, I'm gonna turn them into grossness.
Any type of fruit or dessert, just here, nope, you can't enjoy it.
The other thing that I noticed is, and this has been in a lot of episodes, the dude with his hands up behind the patients in the psychiatry scene, it's either a dude with his hands up, like surrendering, like just give in, or it looks kind of like David maybe doing this, like in the kitchen.
Out. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, either one of those, or it could just be like a weird abstract thing.
Yeah. Maybe she got it at a flea market and she just really enjoys that painting. I mean, who knows?
Flea market paintings. That's what we're here to talk about.
I could give a shit about your mind.
All right, questions we still have. Couldn't the Shadow King have just put David into that box at the end that we saw, like the entire time? Just like keep him in there?
You're annoying.
And then it killed all of his friends and not have to deal with all this? Like, why create this whole memory palace, right?
Yeah.
This whole Clockworks again. If he can, if he's so overpowering, kill the friends, take David's body, put it in a box, and get on with your day.
I think up until now, he may have not had total control of David. I mean, you do see him getting larger and larger and more present as episodes go on.
Yeah.
So it may have been that, or it may have just been he just was like, well, why don't we get along?
Well, that is another good question, is why it took so long for him to finally gain control or this much power, or has this happened before?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, wow.
Like, is this like a series over the last, has he been trying to take over David for maybe 10 years? Or during his teenage years, like how many other times has this happened in time? Sorry, I lost myself right there, but yeah.
Question that I have that I really have no answers with. The Eye is a very mysterious character still.
Very mysterious.
I mean, the wolf thing, I've seen a lot of theories about astrological signs and whatnot.
I heard Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah. Well,
his name is Walter. We learned that though.
Walter.
The
Eye.
Still creepy.
His name, everyone calls him the Eye, but he whittles wolves and says weird quotes about wolves. Maybe he's a wolf eye. I don't know what's going on. If you have any theories about what's going on, let us know. We keep asking for help, but dear God, I love this show. The other kind of question that I have is, why is Amy such a bitch in this episode?
Yeah, total.
She is so mean to David. So there's two things that I think could be going on. One is she's entirely controlled by the Shadow King.
Yeah.
One is she's all the way under Shadow King's control. She has no bearing on what's going on, what she's saying. The other one is the Shadow King has kind of taken the things that are upsetting people or upset people, other than Sid.
Right, who has some other,
Yeah. And kind of turned them up a bit, you know? So maybe there's some slight disgust.
I like that theory. You talked me into this one. I like You know, I was thinking about it after you told me this, and she probably has a feeling that David pretty much ruined her family growing up.
Yeah.
The experience of going through this, obviously, you know, tells him that he was adopted, but it might have like ruined her household, like ruined their parents, and she kind of has blame. Like she blames David for this and putting them through all this because of the powers that he has. So I do like that. And now her level of disgust for him is just through the roof in this alternate reality.
Family problems are hard.
It is hard, but they could just go to a therapist, not an evil demon doctor thing.
The last thing, before we talk about what we saw in the promo again, Sid has escaped the Shadow King's control on this. You know, she's in this prison, she's in the box with everybody else, but she's kind of outside. Like, before she could see the Shadow King when no one else could.
Yeah.
Now she can see the Shadow King's bullshit when no one else can.
She sees the door. She's like, hey guys, what's going on with that door? It's like here a second ago, it's not there. Like, she's very aware.
The weird like butthole thing on the wall.
Yeah, don't touch pulsating zit.
What
walls.
are you doing, Sid?
Yeah,
You're
touch
insane.
Those. Don't pop those. Those are gross.
Oh, gosh.
The hospital wasn't real.
It was a mental projection created by the monster. I've been paying attention.
She is obviously going to kick some ass in the next episode because the Shadow King doesn't mess with her. And I don't know why that is, you know?
Yeah, do you think it's because that she kind of is the only one that kind of understands or has been inside David? Like, literally when they switch bodies? Like, she's the one that has the same experiences as David after they did that switch? I mean, she's the only one that understands him and knows him, and the love they have for each other is kind of like giving her a different passageway into this.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing that makes
Love.
sense. Love.
I mean, who knows?
That's the message, the end of this episode, guys. And just know that we love you, and that's why you should subscribe to get more love. At GameSpot Universe, we cover all things like anime, wrestling, TV, movies, comic books, and we love all of those things. And we love you.
Thanks for watching.